Hi everybody, Mary here from A Recreated Life, and today is a cooking day. Again, excuse me, I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I thought I would make some soup today, and then I got my wheels turning, my brain thinking about all the things that I needed to make for this upcoming week. I know it's going to be a busy week. Excuse me, as you can see, I'm having a little bit of a flu-y coffee thing going on. So what I've done is I've got all my meats. I took them out of the freezer this morning to thaw a little bit, and I'm going to start cooking. So I kind of wanted to show you guys what I do when I look for meat. Like today I went to the grocery store, not intending to buy meat, but if I go to the grocery store and I see something like this ground chicken you save $1 if they've marked it down, and you save $1.15 with this particular chicken. So if it's a good deal like that, I'll do it. If it only saves, I don't know, 25 cents or so, it's not worth it. 25 or 50 cents, it's not worth it. But I look for a good deal like that. So that's ground chicken. I do like to I eat a lot of ground meat, and I do eat, like I said, my son's a farmer, and he gives me this ground beef, and I love it. It's wonderful, but I do like to mix meats. I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, but try mixing ground meats. Like, for instance, I've got ground chicken, I've got ground beef, I have sweet Italian sausage right here. This is made from pork. And then I've got some chicken mild Italian sausage in here. I've also got some hot dogs, and I've got 2 quarts of chicken stock. So what I'm going to make today is, first of all, I'm going to make some home fries for breakfasts throughout the week. I have home fries for breakfast, and sometimes I'll cook bacon or sausage to go with it. I'm going to make some soup because, like I said, I'm kind of feeling under the weather. My granddaughter is. I know a few people who are sick, so I thought, I'm going to make some soup, and I'm going to make that soup with my stock. I'm going to mix all these meats together, other than the hot dogs. I'm going to mix all the ground meats together, and then I'm going to split it up, and I'm going to make meatballs. I've got 2 different kinds of meatballs that I want to make with different flavorings in them. So I'll mix the meats together, split up the meat, and then flavor them with the flavorings that these 2 tell me to do. I'm going to make that soup with some tiny bite-sized meatballs. I'll put those in there, and it's going to have pea pods and carrots and celery and onion, plus those pea pods with the meatballs in it. That will be one thing. I'm going to make this delicious looking. I'm going to get it in frame. Soba noodles with gingered sesame dressing. Oh, I've cut that out and I haven't made it yet, but I can't wait. I'm going to make that for this week. I'm also going to make pizza for tonight's dinner, and on that I'm going to have some of this ground meat mixture. I'm going to fry it up, drain the grease off of it, and then I'll use that on my pizza along with some veggies. That's for tonight's supper, but the leftovers I'll have throughout the week. And then these hot dogs, oh my gosh, you guys, I do something called barbecue dogs with these hot dogs. And it's basically, there's a sauce, and in the sauce, it's kind of like it's ketchup, water, vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, paprika, dry mustard, salt and pepper, and sugar. It's kind of like a barbecue saucy kind of thing, but it's real pungent with the vinegar in it. So I'm going to cut those up into bite-sized pieces, and then you cook them in this sauce for a little bit. That's a good meal to have with like rice or something like that. So I've got my 2 different kinds of meatballs. That's going to be Swedish meatballs and Hawaiian meatballs. So I bought pineapple to go inside the Hawaiian meatballs. They each have a different type of sauce with them, so I thought those would be pretty good to use throughout the week. So I'm just going to mix the meats together and kind of divvy it up between all the different meals that I want to make. Let's see, what else am I going to make? I think that's about it. So I'm going to shut the camera off and prepare a little bit and hop back on. Okay, everybody, so what I decided to do for the first recipe was the soba noodle salad. You know, I don't even know if I'll be able to eat this salad, because I noticed when I was cooking the buckwheat, soba noodles are buckwheat noodles, and I had some in my cupboard, and I thought, well, why don't I use those? Well, I looked at the ingredients, and it has wheat in it. So I'm going to make this salad and hope that I can eat it, but if I can't, I'll have to give it away to my son or somebody who'll take it. So anyway, this is what I've done. I've got, it calls for, well, first of all, the dressing. Let me tell you what I've got in the dressing. Here's the dressing. I put it in a canning jar. Half a cup of reduced sodium soy sauce, 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. I used half of that amount. 1/4 cup is too much. 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons of canola oil, I used olive oil, 2 tablespoons of orange juice, I used apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of minced fresh ginger root, and I did, here it is right here, I haven't added that yet. This is minced fresh ginger root and a clove, a very small clove of minced garlic, fresh garlic, and a couple drops of hot sauce. So that's what goes in here. I'm just going to add this. And I love garlic and everything. If you guys have seen many of my videos, you know I add garlic to just about everything. Excuse me. But raw garlic really bothers my stomach. So I did not I didn't put a big one in there. I just put a small, hey, look at that. Boy, does that look good. It smells delicious too. I used a herb-infused rice wine vinegar. Oh gosh, it smells so good. So then in here, for the actual salad, it calls for a package of coleslaw mix, a package of cooked edamame. I got these frozen ones and just cooked them up, and boy, I didn't realize it, but wow, do they stink when they're cooking. Some shredded carrot, I shredded my own, and it calls for some green onion. I think I'm going to leave the green onion sprinkled over the top. But anyway, and the soba noodles are right here. So let's get all that mixed in. And wow, it made quite a big amount of it. I didn't realize that it was so big. Ooh, hope it's going to be okay and not too big for me. Let's see what I can do. Maybe the noodles would have been best like cut in half. That might have been good. So what I've decided to do, I'm planning on eating this throughout the week. So I'm not going to mix the dressing in or the sesame seeds. So what I will do is, as I eat it, as I serve it to myself, I will just simply dress it and add the green onion and the sesame seeds and the dressing as I eat it. Doesn't that look good? How healthy, huh guys? With the edamame in it, gosh, that could be a meal if you're looking to diet. Okay, so this is the dish I'm gonna store it in. Yeah, that could have been mixed up a little bit better. Yeah, that is a lot. That's a big salad, you guys. I've never made this salad before, but it sounded so good. This may not have been the best week to make it because, my stomach is, I got some kind of a stomach bug going on. But I'm going to give it a try and we'll see how it goes. Looks delicious and smells so good, you guys. So I'm going to sprinkle the green onion over the top. And then as I serve it, it'll get mixed up in. Oh, it looks and smells so good, you guys. So I'm kind of anxious to try this one. Oh, I got my recipe all wet. Ah. I think my noodles dripped on it. Oh, I hope it doesn't wipe out the instructions. All right, so there is my meal prep meal number 1. There, you guys can see it. And here's the sesame seeds I'm going to put on and the dressing. I'm going to do that as, throughout the week as I eat it. So I'm going to shut off the camera, clean up, and prepare meal number 2. Okay, everybody, I'm all cleaned up from my making my soba noodle dish, and so now I'm going to do the 2 meatloaves. So what I've done is, you can see in here, I'm going to try to move the camera without making you dizzy. I've added all of it's about 4 pounds of meat in there, and I've added all of it to one dish, and I'm going to mix it up. I tried this with my meatloaf, and it worked pretty good. So I'm going to try it again with these. My meatloaf held together pretty good, so I'm going to try this. Over here, there it is mixing. Over here, I've got all the ingredients for both of my. Over there's my Hawaiian meatballs with the pineapple I've got over there. I had a very small can of chunks of pineapple that I cut in half because they were a little bit too big. I've got my flaxseed egg, and there's 3 flaxseed eggs in there for 4 pounds of meat. And over here, I've got the ingredients for my Swedish meatballs. And so I'm just mixing up the meat. I'm going to wait until it looks like it's fairly well mixed. And then I'm going to mix in the egg. The flaxseed eggs go in both of them. The the egg and the breadcrumbs go in both. Oh, and I got some gluten-free breadcrumbs, so I'm going to try those today. So there's that. Let me, whoa. Just to come out, so. Just trying to get it out of the bowl without making a mess. Looks pretty good. Okay, so there's that. Now let me add in my flaxseed egg and the breadcrumbs. So I've got enough eggs for both recipes. Personally, this is my flaxseed egg, and if I've let this sit for about an hour and a half. And the actual recipe for a flaxseed egg is 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to 3 tablespoons of water. Quite frankly, I think that's too much water. I think you should do 2 tablespoons because I think it's too much. But anyway, that's what I've done. Let me add these eggs in, and then I'll add the, ooh, I'm gonna do this. And then I'll add the breadcrumbs as well. Then I will split the batch into 2 different things and then season them differently because they both have very different seasonings in them. Okay. Now this one calls for 4 to 5 slices of bread, like actual bread. So that's quite a bit of breadcrumbs. And this one calls for 2 slices. Okay, let's see. What should I do? Maybe a cup? I'm going to do a cup of these breadcrumbs. And hopefully that will be enough. When you go gluten-free, you kind of have to, or even allergy-free, period. Just, no matter what allergy you have, you kind of have to wing it a lot of times because it's just nothing's written in stone, you guys. So there's approximately a cup of breadcrumbs. We'll put those in. Okay. Never tried these. Chickpea crumbs, they call them. Huh. Gluten-free toasted crumbs made from organic chickpeas. So it's pretty good. Hopefully they work well. Alright, so here goes. Whoa. Mix until incorporated. That's a lot of meat for my little mixer. Alright, so what I think I'll do is, I think that's mixed up quite well. I will this and divide it up into right, so this is going to be tricky because one of them calls for 1 pound of meat and the other calls for 3 pounds of meat. So let me see, maybe I should try to attempt to do this without knocking over my camera, guys. I'm just gonna wing it and guess here. Okay, does that look like a pound? Okay, so that's that. So for this one, the okay, so the 3 pounder calls for a packet of onion soup mix, a cup of milk, for my milk, you guys, I use powdered milk. I use powdered milk to cook. Oops. Oh, there goes an ambulance. Quarter of a cup of parsley, but I believe that it's quarter cup of fresh parsley. I'm going to use so that's parsley. Oh, come on. Salt and pepper. Can't see very well. I'm just going to grind it in. I don't think that's going to need much salt. It's got all that onion soup mix in it, and that's pretty salty. All right. And then it calls for Worcestershire sauce and onion. I like minced onion, but I'm going to use onion powder. And there's about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce in here left over, so I'm just going to add that. Alright. So I'm going to blend this up. You know what I should have done? I should have taken out what I wanted to put in my pizza before I put the breadcrumbs in and the egg. I never even thought of that. That's okay. Smells really good. Okay, there's that. Alright, so for this batch is done. This is for the Swedish meatballs, and I will set that aside and do up my Hawaiian meatballs. I'm not going to clean off the beater or anything. It's fine. There's not enough on here to make a difference. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. Alright, so there's Swedish meatballs. That's an awful lot. I probably have enough to... Okay, I took some out to put on my pizza. So these are going to be the Hawaiian meatballs. So I've got the egg and the breadcrumbs in there. Now it's calling for minced onion. I'm just going to, again, use onion powder. Quite a bit of onion powder. A teaspoon of salt, which I think is too much. I'm not going to add that much salt. That's too much. An eighth of a teaspoon of allspice. That's the tiniest one, I believe. Yeah, that's an eighth. Let's see. This is my ground allspice. Really different, but it'll go well. The flavor combination will go well with pineapple. Eighth of a teaspoon of cloves. That's a strong flavor, I'll tell you right now. That is strong. smells so good. Let's see. 2 tablespoons of reserved pineapple juice. Okay, I set those pineapples to drain quite a while ago, so I'm just going to put a tablespoon in because I'm going to need the rest for the sauce. Alright. Yeah, and then there's a sauce that goes with it that calls for the reserved pineapple juice, ketchup, and brown sugar. And I am just going to use my already made up barbecue sauce with that pineapple juice. Okay, stir that up. Mix all those flavors together. That looks pretty good. Okay, there's not very much there, but that's okay. Alright, what a mess that made of my blender. I mean my mixer. Okay, there. So what I do with the Hawaiian meatballs is you take a little, very small, bit my tongue, you take a very small chunk of pineapple, a small chunk of meat, and you wrap the meat around the pineapple, and then you cook it. So that's what I'm planning on doing with that. Okay, I'm going to shut the camera off and clean up, and I'll show you how I make the meatballs. Okay, so this is round 1 of meatball making. So these are the Hawaiian meatballs. So I take a little clump of meat, I put a excuse me, pineapple hunk in the middle of it, and you do the best you can to kind of get that meatball around that pineapple, then stay together. I might need a little bit more meat than that. And to encase that pineapple within that excuse me, the middle of that meatball, and that's your goal. Yeah, it's not wanting to stay very well, but I'm going to do the best I can, and hopefully that'll stay together in the oven. So let's try this again. And like I said, I cut those pineapple hunks up in half, so it's really kind of a must. This is it was just chunked meatball. Chunked pineapple. You have to take a fairly decent amount of meat to encase that pineapple. I used to make these all the time when my kids were little. This was our Christmas Eve dinner. We would have this, and we always opened our gifts on Christmas Eve. And so we would make this for our dinner, have a wonderful dinner, serve this with rice, eat our dinner, and then open our gifts. It was quite a little tradition. I liked it. I don't know where that ever came about, because I never did that when we were kids. We always opened our presents on Christmas Eve, but we never had meatballs. I don't know where that came from. I guess that was my own tradition I was making up, huh? Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. I think I'm going to have plenty of leftover pineapple. Probably what I'll do is just add it to the sauce and serve it with the meatballs. Kind of do the best you can. I don't like a huge meatball, but you kind of got to go big with these so that you can completely encase that pineapple. You know, the meat doesn't want to stick to that pineapple, so you kind of got to go a little bit bigger than you really want. I hope you guys can see. I've lined my cookie sheet with some parchment paper. And it's very sticky meat. You just kind of muddle through and do the best you can. It's not going to make very many meatballs. And yes, I am baking my meatballs. I don't like to fry them. I like them in the crock pot. That's a little... In fact, that's how I usually cook these, but it makes them too fall apart. Especially where I have to go gluten-free. I don't really have the best of luck making them hold together. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have lots of leftover pineapple. I'm gonna try to get 2 out of this. Boy, they're very delicate. Okay, so that's all for the Hawaiian meatballs. Let me guys, I'm gonna continue on making meatballs. I'm gonna make up these Swedish meatballs now, and I will hop on after they're all cooked. Okay, you guys, so here is the first batch of meatballs I've taken out of the oven. The bigger ones are the Hawaiian ones, and the small ones are the ones that I took the meat mixture I made from the Swedish meatballs, and I made little tiny ones to go in my soup that I'm going to have tonight. So what I'm going to do is, here is the sauce. I don't know if you can see it. Here is the sauce that would go on the Hawaiian meatballs. So, and all that is really, you guys, is just the leftover pineapple juice that I drained, the leftover pineapple chunks that I didn't have meat mixture for, and well, the recipe calls for ketchup and brown sugar and, barbecue sauce basically. So it's my barbecue sauce with the pineapple sauce. So all I'm going to really do, I'm going to just grab them with my hands. I'm going to mix them in with the sauce. I'm just going to put them in. I want to coat them with that sauce, and then when I store them, I'm going to let them soak up some of that sauce. And then when I store them, I'll just keep some of that sauce with them. Now, obviously, I'm not going to eat all of these meatballs myself this week. There's a lot of meatballs here, but I actually made a lot knowing that I was going to put some in the freezer. And so that's my plan. So here we go. I'm just putting them basically all in this sauce. I want to let them hang out for a little while and sop up all that juice. See if I can pull you out so that you can see. Okay, so here they are. There's not very many of them, so I don't know how many I'll have to put away, but I'm trying to be so gentle because I don't want them to break. But anyway, they're coated with the sauce, and that's really all I want. I may eat these throughout the week. I don't think that's too much for me to eat throughout the week. I think I'll save these and eat these throughout the week, and then the Swedish meatballs, when they come out of the oven, I will actually put those in the freezer. But these here are going to be going in my soup, so I have to get a little container to put those in. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the little ones here just to hang out for the time being. And I've got 3 trays of meatballs. Now the Swedish meatballs, I will say, I made bigger. I made bigger than the Hawaiian meatballs, and definitely bigger than these. But these are so doggone cute. They came out great. I can't wait to have them in my soup. I think they're going to be fantastic. A little bit of grease on that pan, but remember, I did put that sweet Italian sausage in there, so it did make it a little greasy, but that's okay. That's why I cooked them off. So anyway, there's that batch. Okay, guys, so here are the Swedish meatballs out of the oven. I gotta tell you, all these meatballs I cooked today were on 400 degrees. And these Hawaiian meatballs, I only had 1 tray in there at a time, and those took, oh, I would say, I did 15, and then I put them in for another 5, so 20 for those. And then these were, I had both these cookie sheets in there at the same time, then they're bigger. So I cooked those for 27 minutes, and they seem to be done. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for the last ones. However, I am going to, I'm going to put them in my storage dishes right away, and then just pour the juice over them. So let me get my fork. All right. And this one's little because it was the end of the meatballs. So let's see, how many do I want to put in here? That's probably a good amount. I don't want to squish any. That's probably, I've got 2, 4, 6. Well, 6 in that little one. I'll use that. And whoops. So, and like I said, I'm going to freeze this batch. The other ones I'm going to keep in my fridge to eat on throughout the week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. Yeah, I'll do one more. Smallish. Okay, and then I'll just pour the juice that I've made over it. Now I've got to tell you that the juice that the sauce that I made to go on this, forgot completely about it when I went to the grocery store. The sauce that you make for the Swedish meatballs calls for guava jelly and, what is it, guava jelly and chili sauce. You just, a half a bottle of each. You just mix them together and that's what you pour over the meatball. It's delicious. Well, I usually just use any kind of jelly, like a grape jelly of some kind. I usually just use that, and completely forgot about it too. I completely forgot about it. So I looked around. I had the chili sauce. I had that. I had bought that, but oh, I might keep this small one in my refrigerator for the week. But anyway, so what I did was, I had the chili sauce, and I looked around, thought, what can I put in? I didn't have any jelly of any kind. I thought, what can I use? Well, guess what I found? Cranberry jelly, cranberry sauce that you have at Thanksgiving time. I had some left over, so I mixed that together, and all I'm going to do is pour that over my, I'm going to try to turn you guys around so that you can see what I'm doing. I hope I'm not making anybody dizzy. Let me see if I can see. Okay. Okay, so here we go. All right. So I'm just simply going to, I'm going to use all this sauce, and all of those. So I'll just kind of evenly pour it over all of them and use all of it up. I'll go light on the first trip around so that I make sure I have enough. These meatballs, you guys, are my tried and true meatballs. I've used them for years. I made these for, you know, they're more special occasion ones, but I like meatballs. I like to have meatballs around. Oops. Oh shoot, I ran a little low. I like to have meatballs around to have in the freezer so you can have them, you know, at different times with different things. So, anyway. All right, and then all I've done is I just write on the cover, I hope you can see this, just what it is and the date. And I haven't written on these yet. 1, 2, 3. So there's that. So that's pretty good, you guys. I got what? 5 containers. Well, 4 to put in the freezer and 1 to eat on throughout the week. So I don't know, I think that's pretty good. So let's see if I can get that in camera range. So here are my containers I'm going to put in the freezer, except for this one. This one's going to go in the fridge. And then these right here, I'm going to eat on all week long. These are the Hawaiian ones. Okay guys, it's the end of the day. Kind of had a change of plans. I was going to make pizza tonight, but you know, where I really don't feel great, I thought that soup would be easier on my stomach. I had it on my list to make anyway. So here it is. This is the soup with the meatballs in it, the tiny, tiny meatballs that I made today. I made this same soup last week and did a video on it, and I'm sure, you know, you've seen it. I didn't feel I needed to film it for you because you've already seen it, but I just wanted you to know that that's what's going on today. I mean, that's what I'm having today. I'm turning you around so that you can see everything that I've done today. So I think this was a pretty productive day. I've got my beautiful soba noodle salad with the lovely dressing. I've got 2 different kinds of meatballs, and I also cooked up some potatoes for home fries. I also kept a little bit of meat. Remember, I set it aside to put on the pizza. I don't like leaving raw meat in the refrigerator, so I did cook that up. So this is, and oh, and the soup. So this is what I've accomplished so far today. Quite frankly, I am just beat. It's 5:45 at night. I've been cooking most of the afternoon, and I just want to wind down and kind of try to take care of myself tonight. So this is part 1 of my meal prep. I'm going to do part 2 tomorrow, where I finish the home fries, and I am also going to make the pizza and those barbecue dogs, and then I'll be done for the week. Oh, I want to cook some rice up to have with all of this stuff too. So there you have it, guys. There's part 1 of my meal prep. So stay tuned next week or next time for part 2. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope you enjoyed it and got some helpful hints. That's why I do these videos. I want to help you guys, you know, see the potential. These are my meal prep videos, and I do these all the time. Practically every week. I make almost every meal that I eat is homemade. So I kind of just want you guys to see what I go through. Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading videos. Really appreciate you guys. Take care, and I will see you next time.